I've got about 5 minutes before I get thrown off the stage, so I'll just give you a quick overview. As Ian said, the program here was really serendipitously beneficial to small forest owners or growers of small-scale forests, as we've been corrected, and because it was originally aimed, I guess, at the steep land harvesting in the large forest estate. So I guess I should say that having seen the effect that, or witnessing the effect that looking at this quick coupler had when it was demonstrated in Sweden back in about 2013, the effect that it had, the impact that it had on logging contractors at the time was amazing. So effectively what happened was that as a result of seeing this thing over in Sweden, our technical steering team directed us to really get into this project. So that's kind of the genesis of the project. It was a small project, and I guess I should acknowledge the funding support of the Ministry for Primary Industries, who co-funded the Primary Growth Partnership with the forest industry, the original FFR members who funded this project right from the start, and more latterly it did get some forest grower levy trust funding, so thanks very much for that. I'm just going to quickly go through what the project was about. As I mentioned, we saw this device working in a demo in Sweden at Elmia Wood back in 2013, and the whole idea of this, I guess, is to enable multifunction processing and loading with one base machine. So the immediate benefits there in terms of reducing the amount of machinery that are required for the harvesting task. As I said, the impact that it had on contractors of being able to see an operator change from one attachment head to another without having to get out and get his spanners out and actually physically take time and effort to change attachments by being able to change the attachment in about less than 10 seconds without leaving the operator cab was pretty amazing. So we looked at whether or not we could buy this tool from the Swedes. That quickly became apparent that it wasn't going to be suitable for New Zealand clearfell harvesting operations in terms of the heavier weight and the larger oil flow requirements of our large processor heads. We then talked to Fibre Drive or Fibre Pack, the company, in terms of manufacturing for us a New Zealand model. They weren't really interested in that because of the small size of our market. They sell hundreds and thousands of units over there in Scandinavia, and the idea of first question was, well, how many 100 units do you want? And since we only had about 300 steep slope harvesting contractors in the whole country, they rapidly lost interest. So we went back to square one and did a economic feasibility to determine, well, where can this attachment make money? Like where can it be viable? And the economic assessment was undertaken to really determine the advantages of the quick coupling mechanism for New Zealand. And this is where it really became apparent that it was going to be really suitable for the small contractor, the lower scale operations. As you can see there from the chart, might be able to. No, never mind. You're really looking at the left-hand side of that cost curve, where it gets down to zero at about 230 tonne a day. And it when we compared that to the numbers that we had indicating the range of operations in New Zealand, the average was about 220 to 230 tonne a day, so immediately became apparent that it was going to be really suitable and make some great economic advantages to the less than average sized operation. So where you've got difficult conditions in smaller forests with small landings and other constraints, high production operation is quite often constrained, and so there's spare capacity in the machinery that's being used. So straight away we determined that with this sort of analysis that an operation of less than 220 tonne a day was going to really make some money. And if we could reduce logging costs by something like a minimum of $2.86 a tonne, where daily production was less than 220 tonnes a day, that was a real benefit. So back to the problem of the trials of tribulations of trying to find who was going to build this thing for us. We sort of went around the world, Germany, Sweden, and all that, and then it was a German company actually that said, well, why don't you go to our agent who's in Mount Maunganui? So we ended up contacting Doherty Engineered Attachments, and one of the key things that we wanted this attachment to do was to be able to be suitable for all brands of machinery, not brand specific to a Waratah or a South Star processor, and all brands of base machine as well. So when we finally identified Doherty just across the harbour here in Mount Maunganui, they were already in the mechanical quick coupler business, but they weren't in these automatic hydraulic quick couplers, so they were pretty keen to be involved in the program. So we quickly came to an agreement with them and finalised sort of commercial arrangements with Doherty Engineered Attachments to design and build the prototype. And where we are at the moment, the first unit has been designed and built. It's a prototype. We're now at workshop testing. That's been done with Total Hydraulic Solutions in Rotorua just in the last couple of months. The good news is that the minimum hydraulic flow and pressure that we measured was right up at the levels that the largest grapple processors operate here in New Zealand. So, the unit hung together really well. In the words of the hydraulic engineers, he said, well, when we tested it, nobody got wet. So that was a good KPI, I guess. Physical integrity, I guess, is what we're saying. It performed well under operating pressures. So the final stage in the operation in the whole project is to install and field test the unit. We've identified our first adopter contractors who want to purchase and install the unit, and that's what's going to happen in the early new year. The benefits, what are the benefits? Multifunction processing and loading, as I said earlier. The rapid changeover increases the productivity of the operation, increases the machine utilisation so that one base machine can be used at maximum capacity, and having fewer machines on the landing obviously improves safety. So it had a whole lot of benefits. And I guess the important thing is that we've got a local engineering firm here in New Zealand that's going to be building these quick coupler attachments for both domestic and export sale. So as I said, once contractors see it working, there's going to be an immediate demand, and we're really confident that this attachment is going to sell like the proverbial hot cakes. We also see it as fitting into our new program, which is what we're sort of putting together what we see as a sort of an ideal innovative yarding system for small forests, for woodlots. And that would involve something like a low-cost yarder running a grapple, one machine on the landing that would, using the quick coupler, would switch between a processor head and a loading grapple. and the whole operation would be overseen, with a hauler vision system, such as the cutover cam, and the quick coupler actually fits really well into this whole system. So we really are talking about a 2-machine harvesting system that might only have 3 or 4 workers in the crew. We've taken about $3 a tonne out of the costings, and made the whole operation a lot safer. So that, I guess, in a nutshell, is what this project has been all about. We're really keen, as I said, because it's designed and developed locally. It's de-risked investment by logging contractors, and it also helps. We've helped a local engineering firm to design and develop and expand their sort of portfolio of products, and the first adopter forestry company is pretty keen to get hold of it and get it working. So that's where we're at the moment. But certainly in terms of uptake, we expect that in the new year we'll run a field demonstration. So we'll be talking with the Farm Forestry Association to organise something like that in 2019 and get the industry out and have a look at this thing working. Thanks very much.